Awaken the sensations of your yoni with Yoni Breathing. Hello and welcome to the Sacred Sex for Real Women podcast for woo-woo women in long-term love who crave wow sex, deep connection, and radiant confidence. This podcast offers simple, soulful tools to bring sacred sex and feminine embodiment into your real life, so you can feel turned on in your body, your marriage, and your day-to-day without needing to disappear to a women's festival to do it. And I'm your host, Janine McKinnon, sensual embodiment and intimacy coach, homeschooling mama, sex magic expert, and walking the walk right alongside you, having been passionately with my husband now for over 10 years. And today we are here to talk about how you can awaken the sensations of your yoni with Yoni Breathing. Yoni breathing isn't just woo-woo fluff. It's a practical practice that helps you feel more connected, sensual, and alive. And in this episode, I'll share what Yoni breathing is, why it matters, and how it can help you experience deeper pleasure and embodiment, even if you're short on time or have no idea where to start. I will give you the tools that you can walk away at the end of this episode knowing how you can incorporate this practice into your real life so you can experience those tingling sensations and more expansive pleasure. And so this comes from a deep, deep need, because every woman, I feel pretty confident saying that, every woman experiences numbness in one way. And some of us are quite aware of it. Many of us aren't. No matter how much work you do, I feel like there are always more levels to this. And this numbness, this disconnection comes from many different things. I think many women, again, experience numbness and disconnection in many different areas of their life, from being too overstimulated, too emotional, that we've learned to dim down, to disassociate, so we don't feel things so much. And so, of course, this translates into our yoni. Likewise, when it comes to our sexual experiences, often just not necessarily having the tools or the knowledge. Sex education certainly fails us in many, many ways. And we generally, women will receive penetration way before our bodies are ready. And one of the ways our body deals with this is by numbing out. Instead of not feeling those not great sensations, we just don't feel very much. And we can also be overstimulated, right? So these not great feelings, or too much friction, too much stimulation, whatever that stimulation really is, whether it is with things like vibrators, which can play a very big role with this, or with a partner. Numbness and disassociation is a protection mechanism that we have to help us from feeling those uncomfortable feelings. And so we often get to a spot in our journey with sacred sexuality or with intimacy and sex in general where we want to be able to feel more. And unfortunately, many women think that that means more stimulation and that their bodies are just geared this way to experience an orgasm with their partner, they just need to incorporate a vibrator to be able to do it. Over time, that vibrator might not quite do the trick, and so they need stronger stimulation to be able to feel it. You need bigger, stronger, faster, all of these different things. And that is just perpetuating the issue. The more stimulation you're adding on, the more your body becomes desensitized, the more it numbs out. And you're really disconnecting yourself from all of these juicy sensations that are available to absolutely everyone. No matter how numbed out or disconnected you are, no matter how much you have or currently rely on vibrators, you absolutely can get to a point where you feel connected. You're no longer dealing with that numbness, that disconnection, and you can feel immense, beautiful, expansive pleasure through, honestly, simply breathing. Yes, hands or your partner or whatever that may be. And it can get to a point where simply through breathing, you begin to feel so many sensations throughout your whole yoni, not just at your clitoris. So one of those tools is yoni breathing, which we are going to get into today. It is how we can weave in ancient tools of Tantra to awaken the sensation in your yoni with a practice you can do in as little as 5 or 10 minutes. That's yoni breathing. So again, we will go through what is yoni breathing, why it matters, how it can help you experience deeper pleasure and embodiment, and how to practice it in a way that actually works for your real day-to-day life. So what is yoni breathing? Yoni breathing is a practice that is breathing directly into your yoni. So breath is one of those 3 keys of Tantra. It plays a huge role in sacred sex, and you can, again, incorporate it in just as simple as 5 to 10 minutes if you want. And so when you have a quiet, private space without distractions, it's with a relaxed jaw, breathing directly into your yoni, imagining as if there is this connection, sending your breath all the way down into your yoni, throughout the vaginal wall, throughout your whole vulva. And you are breathing this energy into this space, perhaps including your cervix, your womb space, your ovaries. You can play around with this in whatever flavors you like. And so you can play around with nose breathing or mouth breathing for this. Mouth breathing, I definitely recommend using guided audios like what I use inside SCC or Breathwork Facilitator, because you don't want to be mouth breathing too much, but there are ways you can be very intentional with it. So whether it's with your nose or with your mouth, the big key is that relaxed jaw. A relaxed jaw is a relaxed yoni. Likewise, a tight jaw is a tight yoni. Your throat and your vagina are connected with the vagus nerve. They also are very, very similar structurally. So that's a really important piece to remember, is that you want to keep your mouth relaxed to relax your yoni. And if you're feeling like you're tight, check in with your jaw. Is your jaw tight? Breathe, soften, relax, and your yoni will soften and relax as well. And as you're continuing this breath, you are just focusing on sending that breath all the way down into your yoni. Breathing in and just focusing on what sensations are alive. Now, if you are first starting out, just putting it out there, don't expect to feel anything. If you are dealing with numbness, this is going to be a clunky practice at first, and that's okay. It's a practice. Everything is clunky when we get started. And I will add that I guess I was a bit short-sighted on the won't feel anything. I want to say that numbness actually is a feeling. The lack of feeling, of vacancy, of void is a feeling in itself. So as you breathe right into your yoni, focusing on what sensations you notice or don't notice, and continuing to breathe and build the mind-body connection. And so what this does, there are many variations to this practice, which will go a bit more into it. But what Yoni breathing does is, first off the bat, it's building the mind-body connection with your yoni, whichever area you want to focus on. So you can focus on particular areas again, whether it's the vaginal wall, your cervix, your whole vulva, the clitoris, any of those points. And again, you can get into your womb and ovaries. But choosing what you're focusing on is really building that mind-body connection so you can start to bridge the gap that you have with numbness. It's a way you can train your presence to notice what sensations are there. Because often sensations are happening, you're just not aware of them. And without getting into a huge tangent, there's studies that show this. It's called sexual non-concordance, I believe, or perhaps genital non-concordance, depending on who's coining the term, what the study is. But essentially, our genitals can react in a particular way where our mind acts a different way. So our body can feel aroused without our mind actually thinking we're aroused. And vice versa, perhaps we want to feel aroused, mentally we do, but the genitals aren't quite matching that. So that is sexual non-concordance. And this helps bridge that gap in building the mind-body connection so you do notice what sensations are there. Now, breathing acts as an amplifier. So it helps expand the sensations that are going on. It helps oxygenate the area. Breath also helps move emotional blockages that are stuck within your nervous system and your body, and really increase those sensations in the area. And so, yes, this is a practice I recommend you do on your own. And this is something you can bring into your partnered experiences as this kind of tool in your back pocket to help take responsibility of your turn on and your pleasure by building your pleasure as your partner is touching you. You're able to incorporate some yoni breathing into your yoni, feeling those sensations and allowing them to expand. And so you're really able to help overcome that numbness. I have had clients, some of my favorite messages when I do my check-ins with them, and they'll say, my yoni feels alive again. Wow, I feel so much buzzing. I feel so many sensations that I didn't even know were there, or it's been so long since I felt these sensations. So I just want you to know, everyone, no matter what stage of perimenopause or menopause you are, no matter what different medical situations you have dealt with in terms of hysterectomies or endometriosis, all of these different things, they absolutely can impact your sensations, and yoni breathing can help with it. And regardless of where you are at in terms of numbness and your libido, yoni breathing will awaken sensations in your yoni. It just takes practice. So, how can you implement this? There's a few different ways. As I touched on, there's different flavors. Say this is your first time. Say you're super new to this. This is what I would like you to focus on. Having, again, that private space. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Begin with just breathing, bringing your focus into your body, and then begin to breathe directly into your yoni, into your vaginal canal. continuing to send the breath there. And with each inhale, simply noticing what sensations are there. And on the exhale, allowing any sighs or anything to flow through. But simply taking that 5 minutes, breathing into your yoni and feeling what is there. And to do so with love and compassion. It's incredibly normal for your mind to wander. It is incredibly normal for it to feel awkward and clunky and begin to doubt what you're doing, or this is weird, and self-conscious thoughts and the to-do list and this, that, and the other thing. The important piece is to just refocus. Whenever you notice your mind wandering, there's no need to beat yourself up or anything like that. You simply refocus. What sensations do I feel? Now, you can expand on this in big ways. Within the Sensual Embodiment Collective, I have multiple guided audios from, I believe, 10 to 30 minutes to really deepen your practice with this, to build that mind-body connection, to incorporate the 3 keys of Tantra like breath, sound, and movement with this yoni breathing, to build those sensations, build your connection with them, because again, they're there. You just need to learn how to access them. And then begin to amplify them. Begin to feel the energy building within your yoni and actually circulating this energy through your body, which I'm going to get into in a further episode. So there's many different flavors. You can start very simple. And you can expand. The Sensual Embodiment Collective is there for you. But I really want to cement that this practice has worked for so many different walks of women who have come into my personal practice. All different ages, all different womb and vaginal issues and C-section issues and UTIs and all of these different things. And yoni breathing works. It awakens the sensations. It builds confidence and it builds pleasure within the bedroom. Because once you begin to do this, you can play around with it with your partner. It's something I incorporate pretty much every single time. Because again, it's a way you can take responsibility for your pleasure using these tools that you have and allowing yourself to feel more pleasure. Feel those waves washing through you. Focus on the feeling, that sensual embodiment rather than the thinking. And so if you are interested in Sensual Embodiment Collective and being guided through this practice, as well as many others that support you in this way, you get 10% off simply for being a podcast listener with code PODCAST. That will be linked in the show notes. I'm always here. If you have any questions at all, feel free to find me on Instagram or send me an email. If this episode was helpful, please leave a rating or a review. It makes a massive impact on getting this podcast out there to more women just like you who want to incorporate sacred sex in real, practical ways. I'm sending you off with so much love, and I will be back next Tuesday.